So is eBay dropshipping dead? I've been asked that question hundreds of times over the past year and a half since I started to make YouTube videos, and I always give the same answer. eBay dropshipping is not dead, and it's still alive and well. And that's the same answer that I give today. Now, I understand why a lot of people have been concerned recently, and I want to address some of those concerns because I've been working around the clock for the past few days trying to gather as much information, as many facts as I can about eBay dropshipping in 2019, and that's what I want to share with you today. Now, eBay has changed some language on their website that pertains to dropshipping. So let me pull that up for you so that you can see that. Okay, so here we are on their website on this article. And the strange thing about this article is that I actually had a hard time finding it. Somebody had linked directly to it. And that was the only way I was able to find it. But regardless, this is a new language on their website. It's always said that dropshipping is allowed. But it says now, however, listing an item on eBay and then purchasing the item from another retailer or marketplace that ships directly to your customer is not permitted. Now, most people stopped there, they read that and thought that that meant that eBay dropshipping is dead and that you get suspended for dropshipping on eBay. But some of you guys know that in a past life, I used to be an attorney. I went to law school, and while I would never give legal advice here on the channel, what I will say is that one of the things I learned in law school is that when it comes to laws and reading rules and laws, it's always important to read it in context. You can't just take one sentence out of a rule and say that that is the full rule, because it's simply not. And if we keep reading here, it says if you don't, you may be subject to a range of actions. We may limit, restrict, or suspend you from buying, selling, or using other site features. Now, one of the other things I learned in law school is that the language that is used, the words that are used, you always have to assume that the person who made the rule, the company, in this case eBay, was very specific with the words they used. They used words on purpose. So here we see that if you do this form of dropshipping, you may be subject to a range of actions. Not that you will be, not that eBay representatives must subject you to a range of actions, but that you may be subject to a range of actions. I'll talk more about when that might happen in a minute. And moving on, it says we may, again, very clear with that language, may, not must, or that they will. They may limit, restrict, or suspend. Not that they will, but do all of those or even any of them. It could just be one of them or none of them. And not just from selling or buying, but it could be or using site features. So again, really clear language here that this is not a definite. If you are doing drop shipping, it's not definite that you will be suspended. So what are the cases then when you will be suspended here? And I think what eBay is trying to say here is that they just want a good customer service experience for their buyers. So they want to make sure the items are getting out on time to their customers, that you're providing them with good customer service, and that if there are any issues, you address them for the customers. And this is true throughout the platform. So this rule just kind of puts that into place, letting you know that, hey, if you're doing this form of dropshipping, but you're not sticking to the other rules, you are not providing a good customer service experience for our customers. And when I say our, I'm talking as if I'm eBay, because they are eBay's customers. If you're not treating them well, then eBay might take one of these actions against you, but they might not do it necessarily right away, or they might not do it if you are providing good customer service. Now, we've seen this already. We've seen eBay take some of these actions already. eBay sent out an email to some dropshippers and told them that they no longer qualify for top-rated seller because they are dropshipping. So eBay knows that these people are dropshippers. Everyone who got that email, eBay knows that they are dropshipping. And what did eBay do? They didn't suspend the sellers. They didn't simply kick them off. They simply limited some site features for those sellers. Site features that if you want to get into it, top-rated seller, it doesn't even matter for dropshippers anyway. Dropshippers never receive the benefits of being top-rated seller, but we could talk about that in another video if you want. But more importantly, if eBay wanted to suspend these dropshippers, they would have done it because they know that they are dropshippers. But the fact that they didn't, that says flat out that they are not suspending dropshippers because eBay still allows it. Now, one of the other things that I learned when it comes to reading rules is that you always have to look at the history of the rule. And what we know about this rule is that it's not a new one. People think that this is a new rule, but it's really not. This new rule has actually been eBay's unwritten rule now for about a year. For about a year, eBay has been saying that while they allow dropshippers on their platform, they would prefer if non-dropshippers got the sales for the items. And eBay's reasoning, whether it's right or wrong, their reasoning is that they believe non-dropshippers can provide a better customer service experience for the sellers because they can guarantee that the items will get delivered and things like that. But they still allow us to sell on eBay as dropshippers and make sales. And that's because we fill in the gaps for eBay. The sellers who aren't dropshipping, they have a limit to their items that they are selling. We fill in those gaps. We sell the items that the non-dropshippers don't. And in fact, what often happens is that sometimes, many times, we can sell the items for cheaper than the non-dropshippers. And a lot of times we provide better customer service than the non-dropshippers. Not every time, but it's just, being a dropshipper and not being a dropshipper isn't the difference between a good and a bad seller. I think we can all agree that there are good dropshippers and there are bad dropshippers, and there are good sellers who aren't dropshippers, and there are bad sellers who are not dropshippers. So like I said, we fill in those gaps, and a lot of times we provide better customer service than the non-dropshippers themselves. And they've continued to let us sell on their platform, even with their rules about dropshipping, because we do provide that good customer service experience. And when we don't, there have been dropshippers who've neglected their metrics, provided bad customer service experiences, and they've been kicked off eBay. But the ones who have done a good job have remained on. So I also want to take a look here at some other rules on eBay and how eBay has enforced those rules in the past. So here in their selling practices policy, if I scroll down here, they use very similar language to what we saw in the dropshipping policy. It says here, if you don't follow these guidelines, meaning the guidelines on this page, which we'll go over in a second, if you don't, you may be subject to a range of actions. We may limit, restrict, or suspend you from buying, selling, or using other site features. The same exact wording that is found here. It looks like it was just copied, word for word, right? So let's look at some of these selling practices and see how eBay has enforced them in the past. So there's something in here about responding to buyers' questions promptly. So I know plenty of sellers, unfortunately, dropshippers and non-dropshippers, who never respond to customers' questions. So reading this, if you're going to read this the same way as the people who think that this rule means that dropshipping is going to get you suspended, then if you don't respond to a customer's question within 24 hours, then eBay should suspend your account. But they don't do that. Why? Because they give you wiggle room. They're saying that these are the best practices, and if you don't meet these standards, they might not let you, they might lower you in the search results, or they might not do anything. Let's see what else they have here. There's something about being professional. Like, what happens if you're not professional? I know people who haven't been professional and they haven't been suspended for selling on eBay. What else was there? Okay, tracking numbers. There's a whole section about tracking numbers and how they have to be uploaded on time. And again, I know sellers who don't do this, who don't upload tracking numbers. They haven't been suspended on the platform, even though it says here that they could be. So just because you break a rule and eBay reserves the right to suspend you for breaking that rule, historically speaking, they don't do that. And we see this with other rules in addition, like sellers, for instance. Sellers could technically be suspended for failing to pay for an item they purchased, that they promised to purchase. And back when I used to do, offers, best offers on eBay, I used to do them in the past, don't do them anymore. But back when I used to do that, people would agree to buy an item and they would never pay for it. But those sellers wouldn't be suspended, they wouldn't be kicked off eBay. eBay would keep them on. So again, they broke a rule. eBay was allowed to suspend them according to the rules, but they didn't do that. Now, for something like this, eBay does take action against sellers who continue to do it, continue to abuse it. But in a few cases that it does happen, they do not suspend the sellers for that. And then, of course, we know about feedback extortion. If a buyer tries to extort you with their feedback, technically they could be suspended and kicked off eBay for that as well. But I've had buyers do this, I've reported them for doing this, and I see that they're still buying on the platform as well. So just because eBay says they can suspend you for doing something, we've seen that historically they don't do that. They want to see you do something really, really bad before they suspend you or have really terrible metrics. So the other thing I wanted to move on to was kind of my last point here. And that's when I'm looking at rules, I also like to look at the industry as a whole. What are other online retailers doing that are similar to eBay? So we can see this, for instance, with Walmart. Now, a lot of people drop ship from Walmart, buy items from them, or do retail arbitrage from Walmart. Now, Walmart, on their website, what is this? Their terms of use, it specifically says that they reserve the right to limit the quantity of items purchased for any household. And they also reserve the right, at their sole discretion, to prohibit sales to dealers or resellers. So Walmart reserves the right to do that. Do they do it? Yes, they do in limited circumstances sometimes. So around Christmas time, a lot of us who are trying to sell electronics and televisions from Walmart, we saw Walmart say, no, you can't buy 10 televisions from us. We're not going to allow you to do that. But for a lot of other items, they don't give us any problem with doing that. So again, Walmart, they put language in here specifically saying that they reserve the right to basically ban drop shippers from buying from them, but they don't do it. They allow drop shipping when they follow the rules within their guidelines. Drop shipping from Amazon Prime is the same thing. It specifically says, where is it? Somewhere in here. It specifically says you're not allowed to use this for reselling using Amazon Prime for resale. There it is. But they allow us to do it anyway, as long as we don't abuse it, as long as we pay for the items and they're happy because we're paying them so much money. This is the official rule, but they allow it anyway because dropshipping is tolerated by the industry. Similar for dropshipping onto Amazon. As you guys know, I do that as well. The rule that exists on eBay about dropshipping is very similar to the rule that's existed on Amazon for a really long time. Dropshipping is allowed. However, what's not permitted, purchasing products from another online retailer and having that retailer ship directly to the customer. And what we've found with Amazon is that they actually tolerate it. They actually allow us to do this so long as all the other ducks are in a row, right? As long as we are providing good customer service, as long as we are getting our items out on time and providing a good experience for the Amazon buyers, then they are happy and they allow us to do this anyway. And another great example of that is Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond will allow you to drop ship from them or use them for reselling, but you really have to follow their rules, right? They have a program like Amazon Prime called Beyond Plus, And it specifically states in here, you can't use this for resale purposes. So you can use regular Bed Bath & Beyond for resale, but if you try to use Beyond Plus, that's when you get suspended from their website. Or if you try to use too many coupons, that's when you get suspended. So you got to just play by the rules, right? Don't abuse the system, and the industry as a whole accepts and tolerates and allows dropshipping because it does help everyone overall. So to kind of sum up everything, Sum up everything we talked about here. One, eBay never states anywhere that dropshipping is dead, or specifically that they will suspend you for dropshipping. This is not a new rule. This is one that's already existed, and eBay has just put it into writing. And even though the rule has existed, not a single person has been suspended merely for being a dropshipper. And the industry as a whole does accept dropshipping and allows it to continue so long as you're providing good customer service. Look, eBay is a business, right? And there are plenty of people out there who don't treat eBay dropshipping as a business. They think it's an easy, fast way to make money. And while it might be a more simple business model, one of the simplest ones to get started with, it is still a business. And if you don't run it as a business, and this doesn't have to be something crazy, like you don't need like a whole warehouse, like a whole building and whole office and a huge team. I just mean taking it seriously, realizing that there are customers out there who are relying on you to get them the items that they ordered. If you take that seriously and treat this as a business, and also realize that any industry changes, rules change, rules totally outside of our control. Tariffs change, international shipping costs change. All these things affect our industry. And if you're not willing to keep up and adapt to those changes, then you're not really running a real business. And this is going to weed out the casual people who are just looking to make a quick, easy dollar, which never exists. If anyone tries to tell you that any sort of get-rich-quick scheme is real, they're lying to you. It just doesn't happen. You have to treat any business as a business. And if you do that and you're willing to change, willing to adapt to make things like this work, then eBay dropshipping is alive and well. So I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions here. For some reason, I can't see the chat right now. But let me know in the chat. I'm going to pull it up in a second because I kind of lost it on my screen. And I'll answer the chat. But I know some of the questions that you guys are going to have right away. I know that one of the questions people are going to have is about my friend Tyler. I know people are worried because Tyler was suspended. But here's the thing. Tyler and his friend were suspended. Now, exactly why it happened, we're not 100% sure. Even Tyler admits he doesn't think it's specifically because he was dropshipping. He has some theories that it was the way that he was running his account because he had started a second store and was trying to kind of fly under the radar and not let eBay figure out that he was a dropshipper. So he's kind of trying to hide that fact from them. And he thinks that that's what eBay didn't like. So he had one huge account and then this one smaller account, relatively small account, that he was trying to basically hide from eBay. In other words, he wasn't playing by eBay's rules. So he suspects that that is why he was suspended. But more importantly, this is two people, Tyler and his friend, two people. And I've spoken to hundreds of other dropshippers now. I've spoken to all my students. None of them have been suspended for this. I've spoken to the owners of dropshipping software. And why I like to speak to them is because they have access to an immense amount of data. They are able to see the tens of thousands of eBay dropshipping accounts that are attached to their software. And they are able to see if those accounts have been suspended. And besides Tyler and his friend, they don't know of anyone else who's been suspended. So even assuming that there's only 20,000 dropshippers out there, or dropshipping accounts out there, and I'm sure there are more, so the statistics there is that that's 0.01% of dropshippers that were suspended. 0.01%, less than 1%, less than 0.25%, 1/10 of 1/10 of a percent, I think it is. Statistically, that's like nothing. there is a greater chance of you being in prison than of you being suspended for dropshipping, for merely dropshipping. So I don't think dropshipping is dead, and I don't think they were suspended merely for dropshipping. Now, I know a lot of you also got that email from eBay, and that email specifically stated that some people were losing their top-rated status for dropshipping because they were dropshippers. So again, this is more proof than anything else that eBay is allowing dropshipping and that they're not suspending you for dropshipping. Because if you got that email, that means eBay knows you are a dropshipper. And if eBay was suspending dropshippers, they wouldn't have sent you that email. They wouldn't have just taken away your top-rated seller. They would have flat out suspended you, but they didn't do that because they do allow it. They just, in their own words, as they say on their website, they are limiting site features for you. And it seems like one of those features is top-rated seller status. Now, like I said, we could get into why I don't think this matters. Like, what's the benefit of getting top-rated seller, TRS? Well, the only benefit of getting TRS is that you could qualify for top-rated seller plus. And it's only once you get the plus that you really get the benefits. But for dropshippers, it was impossible, really impossible to get top-rated seller plus. So it's irrelevant for dropshippers that TRS is now gone. I lost TRS a while ago. I was trying to keep up with it for a while. I just thought it was too much work to maintain it between running the eBay store and helping my students. So I kind of gave it up, and I saw no difference in sales once I did that. So it's not something that I would be worried about. So let me try to pull up the questions here. I'm not sure what happened to them, so let me just pull them up on here. And you guys can ask me any questions that you have. I'm not sure what happened to them. Okay. So let me go to the video. And I'll look at the live chat. Okay, found it. All right, so sorry about that, a little technical glitch. All right, we have entrepreneurs saying, okay, I made it, everything's good now. So Dropship Tyler is here, so thanks Tyler for being here. I'm sorry I can't put the comments up on the screen. I'm not sure why that's giving me such a problem, but you know, somebody's saying something about Tyler in the chat, and Tyler is defending himself, saying, when have I not been fully transparent? So Tyler's always a very transparent guy. Like, his decision to, just so you guys know about this, Tyler and I are buddies. So it makes me really sad that this happened to him, that he's going through this. It really stinks. And the other thing I'll say is that I know that he put a lot of thought into the video that he made. It was a really hard decision, the best way for him to present it. He knew he had to do it, and he was trying to figure out, like, how do I do this in the most tactful way possible, while being respectful of the fact that even he admits he's not fully sure of what happened. And he doesn't like to speculate. He just tries to be transparent about things. Okay, cool. I got the comments back. Okay, so we have a lot of people here. We have Noah here, so welcome Noah. Get rid of this one. So let me go to the top. Yeah, so we got Tyler here. Welcome Tyler. We have Andre here. Welcome Andre. Says of course not. Andre is also a big seller on eBay. We connected recently, surprisingly for the first time, but hey Andre, what's up? Jessica is here. Welcome Jessica. Jeremiah is here as usual, one of my students, and Dusty. Welcome Dusty. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, I've been working really hard on the Amazon course as well. So that will be dropping really soon. So I'm glad you enjoyed the ones about eBay. Bess says, I like the new background. I'm inside the co-working space today. Yeah. So Andre sums this up pretty well. I'll read his comment. eBay literally did the same thing that Amazon did. Almost word for word, the same wording. And is dropshipping on Amazon dead? No. End of topic. So I couldn't agree with you more there, Andre. And Andrew makes a good point, the resident attorney here, saying there's a big difference between something being illegal and just being against the terms of service. And I hope I was able to show you that there's plenty of websites where you're not supposed to do certain things, but you do it anyway. It's allowed to a certain degree, again, as long as you are providing good customer service, etc., etc. And Bobby agrees as well. Thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. It was appreciated. Let's see. We have, I don't want to say your name incorrectly, but Tane maybe says, greetings from Thailand. What's up, man? Maybe you're at the Nomad conference. I saw some clips from there. It looks pretty awesome. No, not necessarily. Okay, so I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea about Tyler. He's a good seller. I think what happened to Tyler probably relates more to the fact that, well, it's all speculation, but it seems like what Tyler thinks is because he was trying to fly under the radar and create a store and not let eBay know that he's drop shipping. Could have been the problem. Yeah. Nick believes they targeted Tyler. Certainly possible because he has a YouTube channel. Tyler's another seller. He makes his appearance here. And so Noah said what all his conspiracy theorists were thinking, which is that he made YouTube videos specifically showing how to prevent eBay from knowing that you are a dropshipper. And so they said, okay, let's find his account and then shut it down. And great point here from the Bashir family. If eBay was to suspend all dropshippers, then most of eBay would be dead. It certainly seems that way. You got the person shrugging. And sorry about the slight camera shake. Again, it drives me nuts as much as it drives you nuts, so I'm sorry. Trying to minimize it. Okay. All right, so let's see if anyone else has anything else to say. All right, so most people just agree with me, so I'm not going to put those up. Okay. All right, so thank you. What's the deal.com saying, Paul, this is why we follow you and use your software because you've been successful with it. So thank you for that. And thanks for being here. Yeah, I had to put my law degree to work, Noah. Had to be good for something. right, so thanks everyone who came out. I'm just trying to go through the comments, see if anyone has any good questions. Tyler is saying he's back on eBay. He's found some ways to already get back on eBay. So this is what I was talking about when it talked about running it like a real business. You know, things happen, you got to adapt, and Tyler is adapting to his circumstances. So of course, bravo to Tyler for doing that. And he makes a good point that if you thought this was dead, even this is the guy I was talking about who was suspended, just him and one other person. Even though he was suspended, he's still putting in the effort because he still knows that eBay dropshipping is alive and well. Exactly what I was saying, Green Exclusive. If they really wanted to suspend dropshippers, they would remove all accounts that are flagged as dropshippers immediately. And since people got those emails, we know that eBay knows that they are dropshippers, but they allow those people to continue to sell anyway. Okay. So if eBay's asking you where you get your items from, I think it's okay to tell them that you do retail arbitrage, because that is technically true. And they do allow retail arbitrage on their platform. There's no rule against it. I think it's fine to say that you do retail arbitrage and then leave it as that. A lot of times the reps just ask questions that they're supposed to ask and don't really ask follow-up questions to it. Yeah, so Bobby thinks that it's lawyers who set up the language in those policies, and they use that language specifically for a reason. And look, I know specifically about, so most of my students are in the United States, not all of them, but a lot of them are from the United States or Europe or the Middle East. I don't have many from Asia, from Asia. And I do know, well, I've heard, I don't have any evidence of this, but I've heard rumors that a lot of Chinese and other Asian sellers' accounts were shut down. And that makes sense to me too, because these people are claiming that they're living inside the United States and they're not. It's probably a whole different issue. I shouldn't even be speaking about that because I don't know anything about it, and I don't even know if it's true. So I kind of wish I didn't even say anything about it. But it was a rumor that I heard in the chat, so I just wanted to touch on it real quick. That if it is true, it would make sense to me. Yeah, so Noah's kind of clarifying because these sellers would say the item was in the United States, but they would ship from outside the country. And obviously that's really bad because it would take much longer for the customer to get the item. So that's like a really bad customer service experience right there, which is kind of what we were talking about before, which is like a pretty good reason to get suspended. But the retailers that I use for dropshipping, my students use, those are retailers here in the United States. Most of the time. Some use retailers outside the United States, like Banggood, AliExpress has warehouses outside the United States, but we don't lie about it. We put specifically on the listing in those cases that those items are coming from other countries. If you do that, something I don't do though. Okay, let's see. All right. Oh, nice, man. Dropshipping is a way of life. Using those cashback websites, it looks like. Um, I've never heard of freeshipping.com, but maybe that's a cashback website. So that's awesome. I just got a check, well, a money deposit from Simply Best Coupon for a pretty high amount. So I was pretty excited about that this morning. So these are, I'm talking specifically about cashback websites. This is when you go to a website like simplybestcoupon.com and you sign up for an account and you just click a button. It takes you to Home Depot or it takes you to Walmart and you shop on that site as normal. But then Simply Best Coupon, that website, will give you like 2-3% back on your order just for going through their website. So if it was $100 you spent on Walmart, Simply Best Coupon will give you $3, and that adds up really fast over time if you're doing a lot of orders. The amount that I was sent today was $1,600 just from going through those websites. So it does add up really quickly. And I have affiliate links to that one underneath this video. All right, Joey B says, I called eBay the other day to get my selling limit increased, and they specifically asked if I was a dropshipper. Joey was truthful, said yes, they agreed to raise my selling limit and wished me luck with my business. So again, we hear this from the representatives when we call in about it. I know a woman who's part of something called the eBay concierge program. And that program is, I don't know too much about it, to be honest. But what it is that they invite certain sellers to get like a special relationship, like a special team just of eBay representatives that are specifically there to address concierge members' issues. And so it's like kind of like a closer partnership between sellers and eBay reps. And she was on a chat the other day and she said she spoke to the concierge team specifically about this, and they said no, dropshipping is still allowed, but you have to provide good service for the buyers. If you don't do that, that's when you get in trouble. So again, that's not new news for us. It's things we've known the whole time, that eBay, just like any other platform like Amazon, they want their customers to have a good experience. And if you provide that, then you are fine. Hey, we have Melinda, one of my students here. Welcome, Melinda, one of the Titans. Hey, Donald. Hey, Don, sorry. Dropshipper says dropshipping will never be dead. And I think dropshipping in some form or the other will always exist. And I think as long as eBay is around, people are going to do retail dropshipping on eBay. I think it's always going to exist. People are always going to find ways to make it work. It's just really, are you willing to come along with us and do this with us, or are people going to give up and quit and let other people make the money instead? Hey, what's up, Jenny? Welcome. Yeah, so Jace makes a good point. If you have and I've thought about this too. Maybe Noah can chime in about this if he knows. Noah does some wholesale. So Jay says, even if you have a wholesale dropshipping account, you can still run into a chance of out-of-stock items, even more than if you're dropshipping from retail. I've done a little bit of wholesale dropshipping when I was trying to run a Shopify account in the past. And what I found was that what they would give me, what the suppliers would give me, is like a CSV form that gives their most current stock of all the items. And they would give that to me about once a week, or you can log in for some of them and download them whenever you want. But let's say you have like 10 different suppliers, you get 10 of these different CSVs, and you have to change them to match the eBay file exchange for all of them. And you have to do that every day or multiple times a day. I don't really understand how that works, to be honest. Whereas with the dropshipping that we do with retail dropshipping, we have very current data about the availability of products. So like the software I use, AutoDS, it looks at Walmart every hour and sees, is the item in stock and what's the price of the item? And if it goes up or it goes out of stock, then AutoDS will correct it on eBay. It will put it out of stock on eBay. It will change the price on eBay. And to me, that seems more up to date than the way that wholesalers would do it. But maybe Noah can chime in more about that. Okay. All right, so Bobby was saying 2 months ago his partner was having trouble setting up his account. He called eBay. He told them he was a drop shipper, and they helped him set up the account. That was 2 months ago. So yeah, and I've also known that at eBay Open, which is their conference they have every year, and I hope to attend this year, they have invited drop shippers to present at those conferences. So So I would argue that Banggood, which is a website that I've dropshipped from a bit, and I have a mini course about that as well. That for dropshipping from Banggood, I would say is a legit, even according to eBay's rules, is a supplier that you have a contract with, technically. So I think this would fall under eBay's rules and meet their guidelines. Why? Because you have an agreement with Banggood. If you guys use AutoDS, you should contact the owners of AutoDS, which is a software used to manage my eBay account. I'll have a link to them underneath this video if you want to contact them about this, but they actually have an agreement specifically with Banggood so that they can sell their products. So that is the agreement, as far as I can see, that eBay is looking for. So one of the problems is that eBay is still going to assume that you're not doing it the way that they want, which is kind of bogus. So it's just one of those things that annoy me is that they try to enforce rules and they don't really have a good way to do it. So we have Freaky Funny Channel with the super chat. Thank you, and great picture there. I don't know how much that is in the US. Less than, I know more than what you gave, $5.50. So it must be like $7 or so. So thank you for that. Is it allowed to copy descriptions and pictures from Amazon, I guess, onto eBay? Yes, you are allowed to do that. In most cases, some brands copyrighted those images and descriptions, and they don't want you to use them without their permission. But a lot of them do let you use them because they want more people to sell their products. So if you use a software like AutoDS to list your products, then it's going to alert you if you are trying to list one of these bad brands. So you wouldn't want to list those. So again, I've talked about AutoDS in the past. AutoDS, that's one of the things I like about it, is that they do that for you. And the reason you're allowed to do that is because these are new images, brand new in the box images, not used, not ones that you've taken home, beat up a little bit, and then decided to resell. And then the second question is, use Amazon Business or Amazon to dropship on eBay? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that question, so I think it's fine to dropship from Amazon to eBay. That's a very lucrative model. And you can also set up a business on Amazon, dropshipping onto Amazon, Amazon FBA, online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, ton of different things you can do on Amazon. And there's no harm in having multiple different businesses as long as you put in the time necessary to run all the businesses and to get them all started up. So I wouldn't start two at once. Pick one, go for it. Amazon to eBay is a really easy one to get started with, gets your feet wet, and then you can move on to Amazon, which is a bit more difficult. Yeah, exactly. So Jay Goldie, one of my students, what's up? One of the Titans. If eBay was getting rid of all dropshippers, in theory, I don't even think it's theory, I think you're right. If that was the case, my accounts would be terminated because I've specifically called eBay and have told them in the past that I was a dropshipper when I was trying to get a limit increase. So they know I'm a dropshipper. If they wanted to suspend dropshippers, I would have been suspended. All right. Yeah, so dropshipping is a way of life says if they suspend all of us, it would hurt their bottom line. So true. I think Tyler was saying he's paid eBay over $250,000. That's just one seller. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll put Bobby's message up here again because he left a super chat. So thank you, Bobby. Do I use Top Cash Back? I've used it before. It's a really solid, good one. I just use whichever one pays out the most for my suppliers. I usually cycle between Top Cashback, Simply Best Coupon, and Giving Assistant. My VAs check at the beginning of each week which one to use. Let's see. Yeah, so sometimes the reps don't know anything. You just answer their questions and you get your selling limit increased. Okay. Thank you, the Bashir family. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Let me know if I'm not. Thank you, Joshua, for being one of the eBay dropshipping titans. Dude, I'm so mad at you, Patrick. Patrick, what's wrong with you? So, in a past video, I recommended a great journal. Actually, don't have it with me now. That I used to basically organize my whole life. And I put a link to it underneath to Amazon. And Patrick ordered it off of eBay, and someone prime shipped it to him, drop shipped it to him from Amazon to eBay. Patrick, you should know better. As a dropshipper, if you watch my channel, if you learn anything from watching my channel, it's that you should shop around before you make a purchase. Yeah, so Lily says, yes, dropshipping will never be dead. The key is to try the best to make your customer happy, and eBay will be happy too. I couldn't agree more. And that's what my the woman I spoke to, a woman I heard from the concierge team from eBay. I think that's what she was saying. Gotta touch base with her about it. Okay, so Bradley says, if you're drop shipping from Banggood, what would you use for the location? So that depends. If you're drop shipping only from US warehouses, then for the location, I would put the zip code of their warehouse in New Jersey is where I found that most of their items ship out of. So that's the location that I would use. If you're drop shipping from overseas, then I guess it really doesn't. You have to say that it comes from overseas. You can't lie about that. That's one of the things that eBay really doesn't like, when you lie about where it comes from, and you say that it comes from the United States when it doesn't. That's the biggest no-no. So Mark wants to know when my Amazon dropshipping course is coming out. So it's coming out on Tuesday night. So I'll be having a free webinar to kind of kick it off. You guys can attend that webinar for free, and I'll tell you all about it in there. But more importantly, I'll give you guys some real knowledge in there. It's a masterclass, teach you guys about Amazon dropshipping. And whether you end up in the program or not, it's totally cool because the masterclass is free. It's a free video. It's not here on YouTube, so if you want to check that out, you do have to be signed up for it. I'll drop the link underneath this video, but it is pauljlipsky.com/AMZ videos, and that will get you to it. But I'll put a link to it later after the live is done. Yeah, so this is what I always do. Whenever there's change, I usually just move on pretty quickly and say, okay, now what do I have to do to keep making sales? And I keep moving forward. All right, thank you, Jenny, for being here. Thanks, Nick, for subscribing. see. We have Martin here. Welcome, Martin. Martin, did you get a new logo? It looks nice if you did. And if you didn't, it still looks nice. Maybe I'm just seeing it clearly for the first time. All right, cool. So I'm going to wrap this up in just a minute. I want to tell you all I appreciate you so much for coming out, listening to what I had to say. I put a lot of time into reading about this, reading up on it, talking to other people. So I hope you guys found it helpful and insightful, and I hope you understand why I really believe that eBay dropshipping is still alive and well into 2019. But of course, if you guys have any questions, if you missed the live here right now and you have questions about this, just leave them underneath this video in the comment section and I'll answer them for you. I respond to almost all the comments that I get. I try to respond to all of them. Almost all of them I respond to, so do leave me a comment. And if you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. That will tell me that you found it helpful, and so I'll make more videos like this one, and it tells other people that this is a helpful video that they should check out as well. And of course, if you love the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss out on any future information about eBay dropshipping, about Amazon dropshipping, everything to do with helping you make money online. So thanks so much for coming out, and I will see many of you on Tuesday at that free masterclass. Even if you miss it, go ahead and sign up for it. Even if you can't make it, sign up. I might do a replay that will be available. I'm not sure about it yet, but just sign up anyway so that you can get the replay if it does become available, because I'm going to be giving you guys a ton of value in that video, or that masterclass, so I don't want you to miss it. If you even have any interest in Amazon dropshipping, just come listen to what I have to say. It doesn't cost any money, and then decide for yourself if this is something else you want to do. By the end of it, I promise you, you will know whether this is a good model for you. All right, guys, thanks so much, and have a wonderful weekend or the rest of your day whenever you're watching this. Bye for now.